Hello, Miss Ameena Moham. As I guess from your Fiverr name, welcome. And how's the weather there? And what's the time you are listening to right now? Okay, you are in the present moment and you have left everything doing here and there. And now we are here through Fiverr or thanks to technology that we are here together. And it really removes the space and time effect that technology does best with us. Okay, first of all, I wanted to interact you directly here on Zoom meeting or somewhere else, as that is better. I yearn and I'm dying to see you just because of two reasons. And those reasons are pretty evident. Number one, that I am professor and you are a student. I am always yearn for students to meet me and for some subjects that are quite critical, that are quite urgent to learn. And thanks so much that you contacted me. That's the number one reason. And the number second reason is guess what? That people of your age never think of communication at all. And they don't take it seriously if they think. And you took it quite seriously that this is something to learn about. So that's the second reason I wanted to see you here on Zoom, and hopefully we'll be meeting soon. So just for that, it is a recorded lecture just for you because we could not see each other on Zoom or on Fiverr. So it is a recorded lecture. So I'm impressed that you are interested in learning something about communication. And at the very minor age, you got it that speaking and communication are two different things. And they are, yes, every speaker or every person who can speak in English, Urdu, Hindi, Arabic, or Persian isn't successful due to communication. It is why that communication is a different subject, is a different thing, and this is a skill. And knowledge can be taught, but skill is to be practiced. So first learn and then practice it in all zones of your life. Oh yes, there is third reason that I'm impressed that you wrote in your messages. Because the customized lecture that I prepared for you is just on the basis of the messages that you dropped, very short messages that you dropped in the inbox, Fiverr inbox. So I elicited some conclusions through those messages. And what I guess that you want to learn something about communication and the communication in daily life. That's pretty important. I can guess that a person of your age can do this because in our later age, we conclude that it is something that is being employed in our daily life, and it's the most important thing for relationships. The people who are around us, and colleagues, and friends, and the guys who are with us, and the class fellows, and everything that is around us, we communicate. Even there is intrapersonal communication as well. How do we communicate with ourselves? That is also important. How do we communicate with ourselves, with our inner core? How do we design our future? And how do we talk most oftenly with us, whether it's going to be overthinking or there is some kind of positive thinking in us. So it's pretty important. And you have said that you want to know something about daily life communication. That's pretty important. So there are three reasons for which I am really impressed from your way of thinking. So that's it. Up till now, that's the introduction of this lecture and the background and the context and by what I guessed from your communication. Very short messages. Okay, it's fine. Okay, now come to the second point, and that is your lecture about communication. First of all, you know the importance of communication, that every great executive, every person who is on top is one of the best communicators as well, whether he is communicating through words or whether he is communicating through body language. Both are pretty important. Even 70% of communication is relevant to our body, our gestures, our neck movement, our eye contact, our facial expressions, and the way you are sitting and the way you are standing or the way you are moving. That tell a lot about your personality traits. You already know that there are four major personality traits and 16 in general. 4 multiplied by 4. There are sub branches of those personality traits, 4 personality traits. So we guess from communication what kind of personality they have. So to come to the topic, let me tell you that how I structured your lecture first. Okay, let's take the example of a vehicle. There's a vehicle and how will it work? Obviously with fuel. Our fuel is energy. First of all, energy is required for better communication. Isn't it strange? It is not bookish at all. It's my own point of view. It's my own experience. So first of all, when I don't feel energetic, I cannot speak well. I cannot communicate well because there must be some extra features in communication as far as it isn't a simple speaking. So first of all, you need energy. Okay. And the second, if you have energy, that is the prerequisite of communication. Energy. You feel great, your vibes are good, then you can communicate well, obviously. So there must be energy, number one. Number two, there must be direction. Okay, our vehicle has energy, has fuel, but it needs a direction as well. So you must know where I am going, why I am speaking to this person, what is the cause, what is the purpose of communication, why I am talking to him, what is the ultimate goal of my communication. We'll be talking it further as well. So we come to the third point. Now a vehicle has got the direction. Okay, so energy, direction, and number three, most important, that is balance. If there is energy, there is direction. You have direction in your communication, that I am learning communication skills because I want to do this and that. So you have direction. You want to be a public speaker or spiritual teacher, or in engineering you would do a lot, or there are some other purposes. So you target yourself that I am bettering my communication, improving and honing my skills in communication because of this reason. So direction is important, and you just want to making improvements in your daily life communication, then it's okay, you have made a purpose, so you have the direction. Number three, there is balance. A vehicle must have balance as well. Now energy is there, direction is there, now it needs balance. For a long run it needs balance, otherwise it may fall here or there sideways. So we need some kind of balance. As a human being, we need obviously physical balance, emotional balance, we need spiritual balance. So these are the prerequisites of communication. There must be balance in your behavior, in your thinking pattern. Otherwise, a confused person cannot speak well. Do you agree or not? Whenever we are confused, whenever there is hodgepodge in our mind, or we are disturbed for some reason, we cannot communicate well. So the clarity of mind comes through our calmness, through our serenity, through our peace of mind and heart. So these three are the prerequisites of communication. First of all, there must be energy, second, direction, and third, there must be some road to walk on, to go on, and it needs balance. Okay, direction is there, and now balance is also there. Balance, emotional balance, financial balance, and physical balance. These are also necessary for good communication. Suppose you have all these balances with you. Now, purpose. We talked about clarity. Clarity will give you some trigger points for your communication. Okay, now you have all these prerequisites. Now you have come to the conclusion that I have this and that. Otherwise, you may develop clarity or energy or direction. Okay, now there are levels of communication. That is the third part of our lecture. Number one, we discussed about the general things about communication, importance of communication, then prerequisites of communication. And now we come to the levels of communication. It is structured logically. If you will revise this lecture, then you will find a structure as well. And I am attaching notes as well for more clarity. Okay, now your decision on levels of formality. Okay, means You are talking to friends or kith and kin, obviously, father, siblings, boss, teacher, etc. and etc. So same relations accordingly. These are the same relations. For example, you have very good relationship with your father, with your siblings, but they don't remain same all the time. Okay, shocked, but it is a truth that they don't remain same all the time. They get changed with your age. When you were a child, then the behavior of parents was quite different, but now it's different. So the level of communication should be switched, so you know better what is my communication level with this friend, that friend. And the friendships also have some levels and they also get changed over time. Friends would remain the same, but level of communication will be different, isn't it? Sometimes you are so busy, sometimes they are so busy to talk to. So it means that we have to decide, and you will decide that what kind of level I have of communication with that person. I hope that the point is clear that I wanted to make up here. Okay, so as your way of communication changes with the same relations accordingly means your age, your status, their status now, and whether living together or not at all, or there must be different locations. First, you were together, but now you are separate from each other. So, how would you communicate with them? So, you have to discern, you have to judge what type of communication I have right now. So, you have to check the level of communication. Then you can communicate in a better way or an effective way. Okay, now come to the next point, and that is if you are in some academic institute, like in formal situation, then there is obviously upward communication, downward communication, or horizontal communication. You know better. Upward communication means when you are talking to your father, or if you are in some organization. I have given an example. So you are talking to your principal or your teacher. So that is upward communication. Obviously, there are checks, and that's pretty basic, I guess. And sometimes the communication is downwards, means you are talking to a junior, or you are talking to some kid, or there's some person who is below in designation. Then how would you communicate? We'll be talking about further on this topic. And there is horizontal um, communication in an organization, that you are talking to your peers, your fellows, or your colleagues. Like, so this is horizontal communication. And in our common life, we switch from one type of communication to another automatically. But better it is to learn everything about this, because it is a general view of communication and it's the first lecture. So I want to jump from one topic to another quickly, so that you would have all the structures of communication. How does this work in our daily life? So first of all, we talked about general things, importance of communication. As in my trailer video, you might have seen that there is trailer video, and Corey Floyd, I refer to Corey Floyd, who was doing a PhD in communication, and when he wanted to take admission into PhD in communication skills, his parents and all the relatives forbade him that what to learn in communication. You already speak well in English, but why are you doing PhD, or why is this needed to do a PhD just for communication? Why did I mention this thing? Because of the thing that most of the people switch from one level of formality to another, or from mm, uh, upward communication to downward communication. Yet they don't know what are the rules to switching off from one type of communication to another. Okay, then we come to the third point in our formal lecture, and that is purpose of communication. There can be hundreds of purposes, isn't it so? Hundreds of purposes, like mm, shopping. That's the one purpose, and you go to the shopkeeper and you ask for something like this. And there can be a purpose for admission purposes. You come from this office to another, or submission of fee or deposit, or just like that. There may be hundreds of topics or purposes in communication. But what is the main purpose of communication? Aristotle has said, and wound up the things for all. He wrapped up everything in one word. The only purpose of communication is to convince someone, is to persuade someone, is persuasion. So the major purpose of communication is persuasion. How you persuade some person, some other person. How do you convince the other person? How do you market your product? How would you convince other people to buy your product or services? So that is the only important function of communication. I guess you have got the point, and it's pretty important to know this. Whether we are cracking jokes, whether we are doing some public speaking or whatsoever, behind of everything there is persuasion. In a joke you wanted to pursue that people should laugh, or the people should be happy after this joke, so you are convincing them to be happy, to laugh on my joke. So behind every communication there is a purpose, and behind that purpose there is persuasion. I hope the point is clear. So whatever you do in respect of communication, behind that one purpose is common, and that is to convince some other person or some other party or some other side. Okay, I hope the point is clear. Now, what are the hacks of persuasion? If this is the main cause of our communication, root cause of all the communication is persuasion, then what are the hacks? What are the tricks to persuade some other person? Okay, in this short lecture, how can I sum up? But because it is a hack, so I can talk a bit on hacks of persuasion. And you must have listened about Aristotle's dictum on persuasion, the art of rhetorics. What is the first one? That is called ethos. Then comes pathos and then logos. These 3 points are necessary to convince other persons in communication. Hopefully, these I think are very important point, and hopefully you know it already. Number one, that is ethos, then pathos and logos. In English, it simply means ethos means that you, first of all, you need to be credible, that people should rely on you. So your talk should begin with some kind of authority, with some kind of credibility, reliability. And for that, you have your portfolio to show that I have done this and this in the past. For example, I can show you my portfolio. Or if you go to my Fiverr profile, then there are screenshots. And if you are not satisfied with them, I can show you my dashboard, or I can share my desktop with you that this is my portfolio. But for today or for this lecture, we are not here to do so. But what I am saying, first of all, you have to manage, or you have to develop, establish your own credibility, that I am a reliable person in my field. I am a credible person in my field. I am the authority of this field. Then automatically the audience will be careful towards you, attentive towards you. They would never miss anything because they think that he is a person whom we can rely on. Okay, number second is pathos. It simply means that your communication must have some emotional things as well. You should ingrain something that touches the heart of the people. It is pretty necessary in your communication. Otherwise, what will happen that your talk would go dry, would be drastic towards them, because we are human beings and we decide on emotions, not on logic at all. It is a researched code that I am saying, that we decide on our emotions, on a cigarette, whether you have sketched cancerous type of pictures, but we are not convinced, because we are run by our hormones. Human beings, our body is dependent on our hormones, on our emotions, obviously. So your talk must have some emotions, or your body language or your facial expressions must convey something like emotions, or you should develop some connection with the audience. We'll be talking on this in further details, because it's a very vast topic, how to connect with people, how to make rapport building with them, like this. So there must be emotions in your communication. And number three, there is logos. Logos means logic, something that is arguable, something that you have arguments for. So it will touch their minds. Now, we have developed or established our reliability, our credibility at the first place. Second, we have developed our rapport with them through emotions. And number three, now we are going where we want to go into their minds. So we will use logos, logical points of view in our communication. That why should you chose only me? Why? Some logical points must be there. So when these 3 points are incorporated in your speech, in your daily communication, it simply means that you can convince others pretty easily. So they are very, very effective. We can manage some other lecture whenever you are online. Just drop a message and that lecture would be totally free. No dollars at all because you have invested in this lecture that I am recording for you. Otherwise, it was a burden on me that you are not coming on the forum. You have not got time for me. So that's not a problem at all because you are a student and student must be stuck towards their studies. And I know, so I have recorded a customized lecture for you. So these 3 points are there, and I'm sending you the notes as well. Okay, let me see where are your notes. Yes, here it is. I got the file. Oh, yes, there is some bonus point as well. In notes, you will find there what are the techniques of persuasion, means logos, and how can you incorporate logos, logic in your speech, in your daily life communication. How can you incorporate ethos, and how can you resonate your speech with pathos? So these are also there. Very, very important points that I have incorporated into your assignment. So hopefully you have got a lot from the lecture. If you have some questions, do contact me. And I'm really waiting for your message on Fiverr so that we will communicate directly through Zoom or Meet or whatever be the medium that is convenient for you. I am delivering this message, but if you want to reschedule it, that will be totally free. Okay, thank you so very much. Hopefully, you have got a lot. And again, I will be waiting for your message and for your feedback. Thank you so very much.